5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
From the most infected city in the world, yes, it's the Ramble with Alex Bennett. We'll be here till midnight Eastern Daylight Time. We're talking to Stephen Pearl.
Thank you very much. Here I am, 2 weeks later, and I still haven't changed my T-shirt.
I haven't changed mine either. In fact, let me change my costume here. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. You were showing me a photograph, a drawing you did. You do drawings, right?
I draw a little bit once in a while. Okay, here's one for you Grateful Dead fans. Tell me who this is.
Grateful Mickey Hart.
Mickey Hart, thank you. And now, here's one. Here's everyone's favorite train wreck, if I can get this, is Corey Feldman. I was right. And then, here's one. The kids might like. This is for you religious folks. Dr. Phil is God, man. Dr. Phil is God. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Some of the doodles I did, I thought you'd enjoy them.
No, that's very good. That's very good. Corey Feldman. Gee, the closest brush with fame that I had to Corey Feldman was Corey Feldman's father. One night in L.A., Al Goldstein took us out to dinner at Spago's, and one of the people at the table was Ron Jeremy, who I've known Ron.
I know Ron.
So after it's over, he said to my date and I, "Why don't you come with me and we'll go." Corey Feldman's father is having a party. Now, I can't miss a Corey Feldman father party, okay?
Oh, no.
You know, so I went. I don't remember what he was like, but, you know, I wanted to see who fucked up Corey Feldman, you know, and this is the guy.
The village to fuck up Corey Feldman.
Well, this was the village.
Yeah.
And then we wound up in Pasadena at 2 o'clock in the morning at the Rocky Horror Picture Show with nothing but porn stars dressed up as the characters. They would all go to this theater to do the midnight show of Rocky Horror. Yeah.
Crazy. Boy, that came out that good. Hey, the only time Corey Feldman had a talented bone in his body was when Michael Jackson fucked him in the ass. You know,
and I remember 4 o'clock in the morning, we wound up in a parking lot with Ron opening up the trunk of his car and then showing us his press clippings.
Sounds like a hell of a night.
It was really...
We need more like him.
Well, that wasn't the lowest night of my career. The lowest moment in my career was when I went to a birthday party for the owner of the Moonlight Bunny Ranch.
Okay.
And they take a picture of me. They said, "Can we take a picture of you?" And the two guys on either side of me, one was Jerry Buttafuoco, and the other one was John Wayne Bobbitt.
Oh, the A-list, baby.
Yeah, and I said, I never got a copy of the picture, but I said, this is the bottom of my career.
Oh, God.
This is as bad as it gets, okay?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey, Wilbur Mills and Fannie Fox couldn't make it that night. They had a comedy act in Buffalo.
Yeah, comedy act in Buffalo. Man, oh, man, I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
Well, who's the most obscure person you've ever met?
Oh, my God. Let's see. I met Mike Miner once.
Mike Miner. Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to remember Mike Miner. I know the name. I'm just trying to remember what Mike Miner ever did of note.
He sang really white songs on a hit TV series in the final days of the series when it was really a piece of shit.
What was the series?
Petticoat Junction.
He sang that theme song?
He's the one who married one of the girls with the red hair.
Okay. All right.
Billy Joe, Bobby Joe. And he was he flew crop dusting planes. You know, him and Uncle Joe. Oh, yeah. We got a thing here, Steve. We're gonna fly crop dusting planes here with Uncle Joe. I'm the only veteran actor on this piece of shit. I want to raise. And then they'd sing like 3 little words, 8 little letters means all these fucking white songs. There's no soul to them at all.
Yeah.
Wow. He's dead now. Don't look for him.
Boy, that's this is a lot of trivia. You know, when you want trivia, you come to this guy.
Come to me.
Yeah.
Rondo Hatton. Anyway.
Yeah. What's happening there in Vegas? All the
happening anywhere.
When we're recording this, all the casinos are
Yeah.
closed. But I read that what one said they were going to open up. I think Paris or something said they were going to.
Which one said they were going to MGM or something said they were going to open up? I don't know what's going on now, but you got to be like 48 feet away from somebody.
You got to. But I mean, to begin with, do you want to know how filthy that situation is? Forget the distancing thing. You can take care of that. You can say you can't use this slot machine, but you can use this one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that you can do. I just saw a cat's tail in back of you. They always want to get in on the action. But the thing that they're not taking into consideration is pulling the handles that somebody else has just pulled, or pushing the button. If you're too lazy to pull the handle, you got to push the button. And unless you're wearing gloves, that could in and of itself cause a problem.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know what they're gonna do. Everybody is going nuts. Everybody wants to get out of the house. Everybody wants to get back to work. The comedians are going crazy. And but if there's something out there, I'm waiting for some egghead in a lab coat and several degrees in subjects I can't comprehend going, it's okay to play again. Then, until I don't need a guy with like a cotton candy coat over. We need business. Oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I want some kind of scientist to tell me, okay, there's no more germs.
It's going to be a while. It's really going to be a while.
Well,
no matter what anybody thinks, all these openings and everything, every place, Georgia, they opened up and they let everybody go anywhere they wanted to go, and they had a rise about 100%.
It's just insane. It's insane. This is just something. It's the end of days, folks. We're going to be destroyed by.
Well, we are living in a not a Holocaust, a catastrophe horror film.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like the last man on Earth, and all.
Yeah. The world, the flesh, and the devil.
The only thing that'll be left after the coronavirus plague are zombies. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be Harry Belafonte, Inger Stevens, and a racist white actor. No one remembers his name. That's what it is. The flesh of the devil.
Yeah. I mean, they were quite. There were I'm surprised people aren't doing it. There were films like The World, the Flesh, and the Devil, in which they took place finally in New York City. And what they did it at like 5 o'clock in the morning when there was hardly anybody in Times Square, and then they blocked off Times Square and they let them shoot it. And when maybe things got a little busy, they shot up so you didn't see all the people on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could do that right now on Wednesday at 3 in the afternoon. I mean, that's how empty it is.
Yeah.
And you know something? It hasn't been the worst. It happens to not be the worst thing that's happened to us, because I look out and this town has no smog.
Everything's clean. LA is clear.
It's like somebody cleaned my eyes off.
Yeah.
They say that in India, it's the first time that people in Bombay have been able to see the mountains in their entire lifetime.
I can see the dot on my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's cleaning the planet up. So maybe this is God's way of saying cleaning the planet up.
Maybe it's time for the humans to take a powder. Give it to the animals.
Exactly.
I have no problem with that.
Exactly.
I've seen enough. I've seen plenty of stuff. So
yeah.
It could be the end of days. It just could be some weird shit because I don't remember.
Yeah.
Ever. I wasn't around for like the smallpox in the 30s or anything like that. But this is a major quarantine the world over. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, I don't want to go out and go, oh boy, why am I sick now? So I don't know what to do. So I want to work, but I go out for food, and I went out for my haircut. I just could only take so much. I hear the dispensaries are opening up again. Yay! So put on my mask.
Wait a minute, the marijuana dispensaries closed?
I looked. Oh yeah.
That's not considered an essential service?
It is to me. So.
Wait, but this is in Nevada, right?
What?
This is in Nevada.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. There are people who are told by their doctors use marijuana for this or that. So how is that not an essential service?
I think they made deliveries like between certain hours, and you had to pay like an extra delivery fee or something like that. But I get mine from some bootlegger in the parking lot. It's more fun that way. But I have my little hip flask, put it in there.
Yeah.
But, what I heard, dispensaries you couldn't go in them. But I looked today, and then in the electronic phone book for different dispensaries in Nevada, and every one of them said open, open, open. So hey, maybe you just put a mask on. And
I would think they would be considered essential. I mean, much in the way that I think, like for instance, here liquor stores are still open.
Okay,
that
would be essential for some people.
And there's a lineup outside the liquor store that's near us. Every now and then, every now and then, Marjorie goes down and looks down and gives me the count: 3 people waiting in line, 6 people waiting in line.
Give me my cutty sock.
I guess booze is essential. I don't drink, but I guess booze is essential.
For some people, they got to have it. There must be a lot of alcoholics.
Wait, you were never a drinker, were you?
I hate alcohol. Oh no, you want to see Pearl Hurl, man?
I don't like. You know what I don't like? I don't like the high. It's a high. I just don't.
I hate the taste. I hate the buzz. I hate having to pee every 3 seconds. I hate the hangover. It's like cocaine. It feels good for about 10 minutes, and then fuck it.
But you know what's happening? I can't do pot anymore because I get paranoid. I get really paranoid.
Really?
Well, certain pot. I have this. What do you call it? This vape thing. And I use that, and that doesn't make me paranoid. But there's some other stuff that Marjorie gets from illicit sources in California, and I get really paranoid. I'm worried about jumping out of the 8th story window and things like that. Yeah. And that never used to happen to me. But then I don't do pot a lot. I haven't in a long time.
Pot has a THC content of 27% and a Jewish guilt content of 98%.
Now, the vape I can do. The vape doesn't get me that, gives me a different kind of high.
Like, old time pipey guys.
Yeah. Well, vaping, it's convenient. I don't have to light a joint and burn my finger. I just go, and the little light lights up saying, "Hey, you're good to go," and then I exhale, and it's all these vape fumes.
I've enjoyed it. It's been my friend, and it's never let me down. Everything else, every other substance has let me down. I never liked alcohol. And I was young once. We go, come on, let's go to Hewlett in there, and then pull up down there and feel like shit in the morning. But I hate it. Alcohol has no existence in my world. So
now you have a video on YouTube, don't you?
What?
You have a video on YouTube of you doing Tony Bennett's Hand or something?
Oh, I got a lot of those. Hey, good to be here. Tony Bennett's Hand, singing and swinging for you, because Tony loved to sing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, put your mask on, be careful, and remember you're A-OK in Tony's book. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thanks, Tony. Good to see you.
It's Tony Bennett's Hand.
Tony Bennett's Hand. Tony, but keep the illusion going, you asshole. Hey, Tony Bennett's Hand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, look, I'm going to go on YouTube. Look under Tony Bennett's Hand. There's around 30 of them there. And it's growing like a fungus. Boy, am I bored.
Are you really? And you even learned how to put them up on YouTube?
I learned how to put them up even on my little bitty phone here. I can do it from this little thing here. I learned because this is so idiot-proof. Even an idiot like me can, because
well, supposedly Zoom is idiot-proof, but we had trouble getting you on today because it asked for a password, and it shouldn't ask for a password.
Yeah, we put on
maybe I'll check. What I'll do is I'll check my what do you call it? My preferences. I bet in my preferences I can say no password, motherfucker. Anyway, so
HZ3 Arrowhead parallelogram.
Yeah. So anyway, you're surviving the quarantine. You're staying in.
I'm still here. Yeah. The cats keep me from going nuts, and the internet, and the weed, and all that stuff. So
if things get really hip, I'm going to get myself a designer mask or something.
I want with the Rolling Stones logo on it. So,
yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, we got about 50 seconds left, and then we're through.
Oh, we're done, man. Oh my God.
Our time is out. Yeah. No,
Still
you know what? You know what? With Zoom, you got to do. You got to do all this within 40 minutes. Otherwise,
yeah,
you're
yeah. I know. It's crazy.
you're toast. Unless I want to pay for this, and who wants to pay for anything? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Las Vegas, there's absolutely nowhere you can see this man.
Nowhere. Nowhere.
And
My mailbox.
are you jonesing to get back on stage?
Big time. Yeah, sure. Everybody is.
Yeah.
I'm going nuts. I'm going nuts. Ah! I never got tired of it, man. It's my only, my vice.
This guy's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Stephen Pearl. Okay, Stephen. Hey.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good to see you. Hi, Alex. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, that's our good friend Stephen Pearl, and good for him. Oh, you know what? I noticed that. You see, the picture is so bright. Now watch what happens if I just click this. There we go. See, it all of a sudden I see. Here's what an asshole I am. When I reboot my computer, a lot of the different things change, and I don't do anything about them. See, I should have done all that before we went on. Okay, all right. Anyway, let's. Oh, you know what we should do? Do our little theme, as it were. That's not what I wanted. our little theme that goes like this. Ooh, that hurts. Ooh. Isn't that foreboding, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. Scary. Ooh. Here we go. Oh, look at all these places there. I mean, there's Las Vegas. That's where we were just talking to. I don't know where that is. I might be Atlanta. I don't know. I have no idea. That's somewhere in Europe. But look, it's empty. They're all dead. They're all gone. Listen, I went to a lot of work putting this together, so I'm going to use it, okay, till you get goddamn sick of it. Ooh, let's all drive along. Oops. Look at all that graffiti. There we go. We're cleaning things up. She's running. She's getting... Oh, COVID-19 testing right there. And she's driving... Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Pow. Yes, and there's the map, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the big map. I feel like the weatherman, right? I'm doing kind of my weather thing here. Oh boy, yeah, it's kind of like weather. Here's Alex with the weather. Okay, well, the weather isn't very good. Look, total confirmed cases worldwide, 4,995,712. Let's see, tomorrow it might be 5 million worldwide who have had confirmed cases. Say up there the word confirmed as opposed to bar mitzvah. I've been doing that joke over and over again. Why do that again? 328,095 global deaths. That's a lot of people. I mean, it's not like it, we can look on the bright side. It's not like the great Spanish flu of 1917/18. Actually, it was more like 1918, where the death total may have been at least 50 million. Okay? All right. But we didn't have a lot of the medicine we have today and so on. And, of course, we didn't have Donald Trump protecting us. So, that's the reason it's different. Let's go to the United States, okay? We got to see what's happening here because it's not that good here. We are now up to total... Oh, wait a minute. I hit U.S. There. Come on. All right. 1,551,853. That's we've hit over 1.5 million cases totally confirmed in the United States. The deaths here in the United States, there they are, folks. 93,431. And today in New York City, it went up. It was at, I think it was at 105, 2 deaths rather, yesterday, and now it went up to 105. I was hoping it would go down because I want to see it go below 100. That's what I want to see, okay? That's what everybody would like to see. But the total deaths here in the United States, 93,431. They say by the end of the week we may hit the 100,000. Maybe. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'd say probably at least by next Monday we'll see 100,000 deaths. And of course, it's all Obama's fault, right? Okay, I just wanted to let you know that for sure. Now, here's something that's happening, though. Look at the list here. See, these are the list in orders of people with the most cases right now. The United States, way out front. We're out front. But coming fast behind us, Russia has suddenly seen a spike to 308,705 cases. Now, maybe they just weren't reporting them, or maybe it just took a while for it to get there. But so far, they've got 2,972 deaths, okay? Unlike the United States, where we can complain and blame our deaths on Donald Trump, in Russia, you can't blame them on Vladimir Putin because you'll get killed. Anyway, so you see, Russia is now in the number 2 spot. It was way down here somewhere, and then we leapfrogging ahead of a lot of countries. Brazil, all of a sudden, they've got. Hold on a second. Come on, give me that. Come on, I'm clicking on you. Damn you. There we go. 291,579, right there. They have 18,859 deaths so far, and that Brazil is going crazy. I mean, they've got people on gurneys in the hallways of the hospitals there. It's so bad right now. They just suddenly went up. All right, United Kingdom is now in. Fourth place, 249,619 totally confirmed. But the deaths are 35,786, okay? Now we get to these other countries. Spain, which used to have a lot. It's kind of going down a little bit. You can see here. See that right there. United Kingdom, how are they doing? Are they going down? No, they're still going up. Still going up. Italy it looks like they're plateauing over there. They've got 32,330 deaths. And France, 28,135. It's kind of not plateauing exactly, but I'd call that a plateau. Germany, none of these countries are going down. Okay. Iran. Oh, boy, look at Iran. 126,949. They got 7,183 deaths. And we go on and on and on. India, 3,000 deaths. Peru. You see, as we go, it gets less and less. But we're up here. We're just we're king of the hill, folks. We've pretty much done it, so congratulations to us. Oh, I didn't want that picture. Well, I could get ready. That's our picture we use for. See, I'm trying to do this thing so it's a kind of a full service TV show, and I'm doing all the stuff myself, and I just do it badly. But anyway, we'll be going to that in just a moment, because right now I am going to open up the Skype lines. And by the way, my eyes are just burning today. One day we have no problems with the allergies, and then the next day it's like a living hell. And today my eyes have been burning like crazy. But hopefully we'll be coming out of this soon. You know. Let me see. Come on, Skype, open up, damn you. Okay, there we go. And Skype is now. Let's see here. It's now open, my Skype, but it's whirling around. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now people can call me. All right, if you want to call, and we can do this. You'll see how this whole thing works, folks. It works pretty well too. Let me see here. We got. Let's see here. Here's Jeff. He's the first caller today. Charlie's calling. Hold on. Don't worry, Jeff. I got you. And here comes Phil Meyer. Okay, now let me start putting these people in their place. Okay. First, I guess we'll put Phil Meyer on top. He hasn't been there for a while. Oh, hold on a second. Rob Alfano. I got to answer that. Wait, who's down on the bottom there? Okay, that's Charlie. Okay, now wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me put a scuba diver in there. No, wait a minute. Cancel. Let me leave him there. Let's put scuba diver in there. I have to do this all. Once it's done, it's done. You know. There we go. That's the ticket. Okay. That's the ticket. Okay. Now we go. Let me see here. Who else do we have? We have we got Charlie, Rob, Jeff. Okay, Jeff. Mm-hmm. We got to put him in number 5. There he goes. Okay, and that's our people so far today. There we go, and a few more people should call soon. So we'll add them as they come in. Hello, everybody. Good evening to you. Oh, my eyes are burning. Oh, boy. Anybody else having allergy problems right now?
No.
But if you do in public, they'll shoot you.
What?
If you have an allergy problem in public, they'll shoot you.
Oh.
Last thing
Don't you sneeze around anybody.
You're like a pariah.
I don't sneeze that much. Once or twice a day, I have this really just sneezy sneeze, and I know it's allergies because there's an allergy sneeze you get. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's got off. Do you have allergy problems, Charlie?
Just in the fall.
Just in the fall. Why in the fall? This is the time of the year to get them.
Ragweed. When ragweed goes rampant.
When the ragweed goes rampant. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, we're just we're having to deal with this right now, and so and also I wonder how many people are going up to the emergency room and saying, "I think I had the coronavirus," and it's just, "Hey, you got allergies."
You really want to get tested, because if you do, then they'll trace you. It might affect your insurance in the future if you test positive.
No, it won't. Why? What do you say? Why are you saying that?
Yeah, it's better to just die.
Because the way they're going to keep track of people that have had it.
Phil, where are you hearing this crap?
I'm not hearing. I'm just thinking about it.
Is that your own sense of things, Phil?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just asking the question. Do you really
proud.
expose your private information like that? I mean, there's HIPAA and there's all this other stuff.
No, look. There's every reason to go get tested if.
Look, you remember?
Are you gonna let me finish what I was saying? Can I finish what I was saying?
You just interrupted me.
Well, if I didn't interrupt you, you'd never stop talking.
No. I'm not Vernon and Ra and Charlie.
Oh yeah, Charlie interrupts all the time. He is just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
My name is Coitus Repetatus.
You got coitus? You got schmuck.
Now I forgot what I was saying, so go ahead, Phil. Tell us what pearl of wisdom you have. Oh, yeah. You were talking about the fact that the only reason, if you do not get tested, okay, if you don't have any of the symptoms. because people who do have the symptoms need to be tested. Those are the ones they want to test right now. Later on, they'll get to everybody just to make sure. But at this point, if you have the symptoms or any of the symptoms, then get tested. You know, better to know than not to know.
Yeah, well, I think if you have the symptoms, it makes sense to get tested because, you know, you might be able to get something that will make it less painful to go through this.
No.
No?
Wait a minute. GABNet Live started using a device? Did you do did somebody do something there? Let me see here.
It was Brian.
It always says that in the upper corner there, but it's set across your
Wait a minute.
picture.
Brian. Wait a minute.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. There's Brian. Brian,
What?
we haven't got a picture on you, though.
You know how it was in the 70s? I mean, if somebody had AIDS, they weren't allowed, or they didn't have to tell you. There was all sorts of stuff that...
Yeah, but this is different, Phil. To begin with, that was a sexually transmitted disease, and it had a different onus to it than this does. Okay? What is that? It's kind of getting blurry when you get too close to it.
Guess you can't see it. It needs to for autofocus. This is one of our tests right here.
Yeah, with the barcode and everything. No, Phil. I mean, come on. You know, people were. It was a.
You couldn't get AIDS by somebody breathing on you.
Yeah.
Kinda.
No, Phil, you
Yeah.
couldn't. You know.
I understand that. All I'm saying is it's the tracing and, you know, your name being out there as someone that has this virus.
But who cares? It's not a...
Well, you don't
It's
care
not-
now, but
Am I suddenly going to, if I hear that Phil Meyer came down with corona and I had been in contact with him and they traced me and said, we want to let you know he has it, maybe we would like to do a test on you to see if you got it. To begin with, I'd be happy to because I want to cooperate with this whole methodology. But secondly, I wouldn't think terribly of you. I would feel sorry. I would call you up to see if you're okay.
and
You
then
know,
lawsuits
What
would
it
come.
sounds like you're worried about is whether or not it causes bigger problems down the line.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, then that doesn't bode well for wanting to open the economy before it's time.
Exactly.
Infect more people.
Oh, we just lost
Well,
Brian.
if you're worried about that, and you believe that that's a real issue, then you should have more of an issue with people getting infected.
I think if you're infected, you're not going to want to lay there in bed. You're going to call your doctor, and it's going to be out there.
Charlie?
These guys hand.
The problem is you could be out there infecting people all around you without any symptoms at all for days. So you can't wait till you have symptoms to get tested. You got to be tested beforehand to find out before you infect 100 people.
Charlie, they're not going to test you unless you have symptoms, right?
That's because there's not enough tests.
Are they, unless you're Trump, are they going to test you if you don't have symptoms?
Right. That's because there's not enough tests. We should have a Manhattan Project style thing going where we're producing hundreds of millions of tests so we can test everybody in the country.
But
I'm not going back on the softball field until we have that.
Yeah, but the point is that also, Charlie, the argument that I have back against that is, let's say you test everybody who goes out on your baseball field, okay? And so you're safe, and now they all go home, and they come into contact with somebody who has it, and now they come back onto your baseball field again.
That's why you have to have multiple tests for everybody so you can get tested regularly.
I would say, in certain situations.
That's what they have in the White House.
Let me ask you this.
They get tested every day.
How much does the average test cost? Not yours, Brian, but, just the average test. That's with the personnel to administrate it and all of these things. What is the average cost of a test?
I would guess they're selling their tests for $30 to $40 each.
And then you have to have someone administrate the test and so forth. Does that include the lab work, or is that just the canister?
That's everything, I would think.
Okay.
So our stuff is more expensive, but our stuff is also our stuff is CLIA waived. So CLIA waived means that even at the nursing homes, a nursing home provider could give the test because everything is done inside this cartridge. All the changes, all the mixing, get done everything.
I understand.
Outside.
So if you take $40 a test times 330 million people, and you do it multiple times, I don't have a calculator on me.
Phil, it's cheaper than having to close the economy down again.
Less than 5% of our defense budget. Less than 5%.
But that's worth it. Got to be able to blow up people over and over and over. After they're blown up,
right.
we have to be able to blow them up again.
I mean, you can't have it both ways, Phil. You can't open up the society and not be testing.
The reason we were going to weren't going to open society for 2 weeks was to flatten the curve so that we didn't overwhelm the healthcare system. Well, we didn't overwhelm the healthcare system.
Well, let's overwhelm it now.
Yeah, let's overwhelm it now. The reason it wasn't overwhelmed, at least here in New York, is because we took those precautions, and because everybody in New York, because New Yorkers are tough, and they decided we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to do what the governor says, and we managed. If we hadn't done anything, we would have overwhelmed the system. And we would have had hundreds of thousands of more people dead than are dead right now.
Well, we all did something. We all sheltered in place for a period of time, not to overwhelm the system. The system didn't get overwhelmed. I don't know.
Okay, so now we're going to go out and overwhelm it before we know the facts of how.
Now, it's been a couple of months.
Yeah. But it's still out there. It's not like this.
It's always going to be out there.
It's not like this thing has gone to. Brian, this thing hasn't gone to sleep, has it? I mean, it doesn't have a sense memory that says, "Oh well, they're all after me now. I better leave town."
Trump said it's coming down to zero.
Did any of the other viruses go to sleep and go to zero?
Sure. You haven't heard of the
infecting 20,000 people a day.
Well,
the Spanish flu didn't come back.
Yeah, well, it killed.
It came back a couple of times, but then it went away completely.
Yeah.
So
Trump keeps saying 1917.
Yeah,
that was the movie.
Yeah, it's 1918 actually, into 1919.
Yeah, but if he would have closed the borders in 1917, you wouldn't have had it. He could have. What was it? Colorado spread it. The Spanish flu, did it originate in Colorado?
In Colorado, no.
It didn't originate in Spain.
No, it originated in the States.
It originated in the United States. It started here.
Right. So if he would have, closed the border off to that state, it would have been fine.
There's John Larkin. He's just joined us. Hello, John. How are you?
Hi.
Good.
How's it going?
Good. Well, every day I wake up, and within a half hour after I wake up, because I wake up late, our governor gives his little speech to us, and he keeps saying that we have managed to take that curve and drop it down. We're back where we were almost towards the beginning. And I think he's just done a swell job. I think he's done a terrific job. Don't you? What?
He's a real swell.
What do you mean by that, Phil?
I think he did an awful job.
What did he do that was awful?
The highest number of deaths in any state.
But you're not taking any of the external factors into account.
He has blood on his hands for 5,000 people in assisted living homes.
Oh, okay, Phil. I'm sick and tired of you going with that old trope, okay? And I'm ready for you today.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's got to be quiet for 5 minutes because I'm going to be running this on the same audio feed that you guys are on, and I want you to hear all of this. And then, Phil, after this is over...
Is this MSNBC?
This is not MSNBC. This was taken off the direct feed from the governor's office today.
The governor himself saying that he did no wrong, and I
well,
heard
wait a
that
minute.
one.
You did? Well, listen to it again. I want everybody to hear it because this thing's been going around that, oh, look at what he did to those poor people, and He forced people back to these nursing homes who had the coronavirus. Listen to this. It is completely explained in this 5 minutes, and shut up, Phil. Wait a minute, that's not what I wanted. I always run the wrong stuff, you know? I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop putting so many videos and getting them ready. It was in the number 2 spot. Okay, here we go.
There is a call for a federal probe into how the state handled the nursing home situation, specifically the March executive order allowing COVID positive patients back into the nursing homes. In reflecting on comments, I was wondering, why was that executive order made at the time?
Yeah, you should tell look, this is a political season, I get it. I have refrained from politics. I'm not going to get into the political back and forth. But anyone who wants to ask why did the state do that with COVID patients in nursing home, it's because the state followed President Trump's CDC guidance. So they should ask President Trump. I think that will stop the conversation.
Are you fudging the numbers? Because that's an accusation that you're facing, that you are changing the numbers to make...
Well, let's go back. Let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Your first point, why did the state do that? Because the state followed President Trump's CDC's guidance. Okay? That's that answer. No numbers were changed.
You've shown a willingness to thwart President Trump at other times. Why on that March 25th memo did you not thwart him? Why did you follow CDC guidance? And do you regret that? I mean,
No,
considering
not
the
at
death
all.
toll.
Well, you have to remember the facts. I know you're the New York Times, but facts are still facts, right? Even at the Times, okay? So here are the facts. The CDC guidance said a nursing home cannot discriminate against the COVID patient, because at that time the issue was hospital capacity, right? Remember hospital capacity? And we were dramatically increasing hospital capacity. If a person doesn't need an urgent care bed in a hospital because they're not urgently ill, and it can take 2 weeks to test negative when you're no longer urgently ill. Is the best use of a hospital bed to have somebody sit there for 2 weeks in a hospital bed when they don't need the hospital bed because they're not urgently ill, they're just waiting to test negative on the antibody test, which can take 2 weeks. And you need that hospital bed for somebody who may die without it. Second fact, a nursing home cannot accept a patient who they are not qualified to handle. For a COVID patient, a nursing home must say, I can quarantine, I can isolate, I have the right staff, I have the right PPE, or else that nursing home should not take that patient. And third point, we always had alternative beds. Any nursing home that says, I can't take that COVID patient, for whatever reason, I don't even care what the reason is. I don't have the staff, I don't have the time, I'm overstressed, I don't have the PPE. We always have alternative beds. We have had alternative beds all throughout this. We never got to a place where we were bumping up against the capacity. So any nursing home could just say, I can't handle a COVID person in my facility.
Right, but in retrospect, do you think that was a bad decision, the March 25th memo? Do you think that contributed to the death toll in this state, which is, even in nursing homes, is over 5,000 people?
No, because you'd have to be saying the nursing homes were wrong in accepting COVID-positive patients. That's what you would have to be saying.
Resistant to an outside.
That's what you would have to be saying.
Why are you so resistant to an outside probe here, guys?
Shielded nursing homes from any most legal liability if they had a shortage.
Do you believe a nursing home, do you believe a nursing home operator would accept a patient who they knew they couldn't care for? Why would a nursing home operator do that? Why? We always had alternative beds. If they didn't think that they could handle a COVID patient, they would say, I can't handle the COVID patient.
In the past, you've used outside entities to investigate things when you were Attorney General. You convened Moreland Act commissions. Why are you so resistant to an outside probe here?
I'm not resistant, Jimmy. I said I'm just not playing politics.
Well, I don't know who the politics is. It's Democrats, it's Republicans, it's short people, tall people.
I have nothing to do. If the federal government wants to start a probe, then they can start a probe. What do I have to do with whether or not a federal probe happens or not?
Probe? Why do you think the death toll is so much higher?
It is irrelevant to me. I have no role in determining a federal probe. I don't welcome, not welcome, it doesn't matter. President Trump does what he wants to do. He doesn't listen to a governor.
Why do you think the death toll is so much higher in New York than it is in California?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're number 34 in terms of per capita deaths in nursing homes, right? Well, you asked about nursing homes. You take 50 states, and you can put all 50. Where is New York? Number 34.
There you go. And Phil, of course, was making all kinds of funny little faces and jerk-off signs and so on.
Yeah.
But what? Shut up, Phil. Shut up. I want to hear what?
I have a quote that I sent to you on May 1st, and it was published by NBC News. And the quote was, in quotation marks.
I saw what you sent me, and we've talked this over 5 times already on this program. No.
You're burying your head in the sand.
No, I'm not burying my head in the sand, Phil. I just played you what he had to say today.
And what he had to say today is a complete lie, and all he's doing is blaming
Phil,
everyone else but himself.
Okay, just shut up.
Just remember what he said about nursing homes.
I know.
They don't have a right to object. That is the rule, and this is the regulation, and they have to comply with that. And that's what he said.
This is the rule from Trump and the CDC, Phil.
Hey, so now he's blaming them.
Well,
he could do whatever he wanted. He was the governor.
You're so full of shit. I can't believe it.
Oh, yeah, you just don't want to accept reality.
Rob, what did you think?
I don't know. I was half paying attention to that, so I was distracted by something here.
Oh, okay. How about
What's
you?
the issue?
How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I heard him say that before, and for me, it still sounded, even before, like if the nursing home wasn't going to be able to take care of them, that they need to speak up.
Yeah.
You didn't hear my quote, huh? That I got from NBC.
That quote doesn't say anything, Phil. You keep seeing something. You have something to see. They don't have a right to object because Trump and the CDC have said that this is the protocol for doing things. The reason why those people were taken out of the hospital and put back in the nursing homes is because they were on the mend. And they didn't want to wait 14 days having them lying in a bed that could be taken by somebody else who was dying, okay, and stay in that bed for 14 days while they got clear. Instead, for the quarantine period, they went back to the
and that's
the
why
hospital,
25%
which if
of
the
the
hospital
Phil,
will you fucking let me finish what I'm trying to say? Will you quit being so rude to me? You won't fucking shut up, Phil. You won't fucking shut up.
All right, I'll shut up. Good night.
Goodbye. Whew. Boy, am I glad to be rid of him. Oh, fuck.
Me
too. What?
You know why? Can I just say this? You know why? The issue is bullshit is because the only journalist that brought the thing up was that guy from the New York Post, and the New York Post is a right wing. It's one step away from the Inquirer. I mean, if he had any evidence that was solid, the New York Times, the Washington Post, all the other major media outlets would pick up on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't, because it's bullshit.
All I'm saying is that what he did you find his explanation plausible, Brian? I mean, in what you know about this sort of thing, that because it takes.
And I think that big clump of deaths that people are talking about in the nursing homes are nursing homes when somebody caught it and they didn't catch it in time, and that thing just spreads like wildfire in there. That's the most vulnerable group.
Yeah, and but the thing was, the explanation is that you don't keep somebody in the hospital for the 14 days of the quarantine period when you've got a premium on beds.
Yep, especially when they think, at that time, they still think that thing's blowing up and they don't know what tomorrow looks like. They had to save all those beds for people who were, like you say, really needed the maintenance of somebody there paying attention to them.
And what he also said was that if the nursing home felt they couldn't handle them, they did have COVID patient beds elsewhere. For instance, they had the Jacob Javits Center. They had the cruise ship, the cruise ship, the hospital ship.
Nursing, correct.
The nursing boat. They had that. They had places to put them if the operators felt they couldn't take care of these people. But these people these people that came back were already on the mend. It's just they hadn't gone the full 14 days. Yes, Jeff?
Okay, I have experience of one person who's in one of these beds. And it's in Connecticut. It's not New York, but it's damn close. And what she didn't, we asked her if she wanted to come to one of those houses that we know, because somebody is down in Florida right now and their house is open, and maybe you could go in that room. No, I don't want to do that. I want to stay there because this is where I live now. And also, they get certain people who are benefited to them.
Yeah.
The people who help them, people who give them lunch and breakfast. And then also, until, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or yesterday or something, they had to keep in each special room and not go into anybody else's room. So these places were very well organized too. And the best thing, she said yesterday, we're allowed to walk around.
The thing that we were just arguing with Phil about, or rather that he was filibustering on, it was also this guy Dave Polison wrote me. He said Governor Cuomo signed an order to house people with coronavirus at nursing homes. That's completely false. That's not what he did at all. He simply said that once they were taken care of in the hospitals, they had to go back to the nursing homes. And if the nursing homes couldn't take them, they had a place to house them.
We're all just getting caught up in politics here.
I know, but
has really, there's no bearing on anything. It's the right pushing back on the left because the right blew this so bad, the president. Things are so bad, and so everybody on the right is deflecting to the left, where you got a guy like Cuomo who is, leading. Okay, so they have to poke holes in him leading because, God forbid, he gets really popular, and maybe there is something that happens at the convention this summer, and and they do draft him, right?
Yeah.
They want to poke holes at this guy. They want to make him look bad. Well, that's what this is all about, and we're just giving it more airtime.
Yeah, and that's why the pandemic playbook, it was so important, because when that starts going through, you're going to have those questions, and then the governors know exactly what to do if they have patients that are trying to recover and the nursing homes cannot take them. They have all the plans for that, but when it's so bumbled up from the very beginning, the governors don't know what to do.
Yeah. John Larkin had his hand up.
Yeah, and don't forget, Fox News. They just need just meat to fucking feed, I mean, it's all bullshit, but they just, Tucker Carlson and, the other asshole, Sean Hannity, they just need bullshit to, stir it up.
Well, what's interesting is, and you're right, but what's interesting here in this case is that Cuomo has become the most articulate spokesperson for how you handle this pandemic. He's acting like the president should be acting. He is acting as our president in a way. Let me see here.
But you notice that there isn't one Republican who believes that.
That believes what? That believes.
I shouldn't say a Republican, because there are a lot of anti-Trump Republicans out there.
Yeah.
Trumpers.
Yeah.
Aren't going to believe for 1 minute. I don't care what you could have played 20 minutes of Cuomo.
But like this note that I got here from this person. It goes, but the results have been tragic and blah 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 blah. This has been almost an urban myth about what Cuomo did or didn't do. Cuomo's the first one to say in any of these press conferences, hey, I make mistakes, and I've made a lot of mistakes in this thing, but I try to correct them and move onward. In this particular case, this thing has been going around to try and discredit Cuomo because they consider him the most articulate, and they want to blunt it, and they blunt it with a complete fabrication. Today, he gave what I consider a plausible explanation. He was going by the president and the CDC's guidelines of what you did in that kind of situation, and so he ordered it up. Okay?
He's taking the orders from the top. He's deflecting.
like Rob says, though, that, people who are Trumpers, I put on the Mitch McConnell's saying back that, there was a pandemic playbook that we got from Obama. I put that on there, and Trumpers still says, no, this is wrong. Somebody mocked this up. This was Photoshop. I'm like, you guys, this is a fact. This is a fact. They still don't take it.
They haven't given a good god diddly crap about Cuomo until he has become overwhelmingly popular. His approval rating in the country right now, as a result of this situation, is 75%. Okay?
Pretty amazing.
There are some other governors who are pretty high, too. I think Gavin Newsom's up around 73%.
I don't know if I believe polls anymore after the 2016 election. I don't know if I believe it because I don't know that people tell the truth.
Yeah. But and Trump's poll numbers on this are somewhere about that they trust him with his decisions and so on is somewhere down around I think 42%, something like that.
Yeah. Did you hear him claiming that that the reason the governors have got such high ratings is because of him?
Of course.
Really, yeah.
Guy.
Okay, all right. I mean, Trump is really, the trouble is that, excuse me, I have to rub my eye because it's itching like crazy. Trump is, I think, getting a little galled by Cuomo. Cuomo isn't trying to bait Trump because he feels he needs Trump to do stuff for the city. I mean, for the state, rather, and that he doesn't want to have to go to him and have hostility. But it gets harder every day when Trump says things about him, about other people in the party, when he lies about the situation, when he goes and says, I'm taking the chloroquine or whatever that name of that stuff is,
Do you really believe that? I firmly believe that our system is a mess. And I don't even know what the hell you can do about it because we live in an age now where it's not important to do the right thing. It's important to be right. And that's both sides. It's important for me to be right in what I believe, more important than for me to weigh the facts and say, no, I'm wrong. I can't be wrong. So what I believe has to be right. That's just the way we believe today. You're not going to convince anybody of anything. You're not going to change anybody's mind. And how do you run a government? Maybe we need to change things to the point where if you have a Democratic president, then the Senate and the Congress have to be Republican. So at least you have balance. Because when you don't have balance, you can see what they let him run amok. They won't impeach him. If he were a Democrat, they would have had him out already, right?
Well, my point is that none of this, and Cuomo does say he doesn't want to get political about this.
You no choice. This is the world we live in.
But in a way he had to, because he had to say, hey, I was only doing what Trump indicated we should be doing. Yes, Charlie.
Well, I kind of disagree with Rob in that I don't think the Democrats are near as bad as the Republicans. The Republicans actually come out and say we make our own reality. They don't care what the facts are. They just blatantly lie.
But we do it in a different way.
Democrats aren't as blatant. They aren't going to tell you that the sky's green instead of blue. The Republicans will.
I would disagree with you, Charlie, that I do think the Democrats are somewhat complicit in this back and forth between left and right, left and right, left and right, and that they feel they have to follow a certain what do we call a certain, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm out of it tonight again.
Protocol?
Ideology?
A certain ideology, yeah. And that if they veer from that, they're not being loyal to their own kind.
Right.
And I think there's no place for this, and I think Cuomo makes a very good case for the fact that there's no place for this. There's no place for Mitch McConnell to say we're not going to bail out the blue states.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. When
only the Republicans say that. No Democrat has ever said we're not going to bail out the red states.
I would agree.
Texas got hit under Obama's administration with the hurricanes. Yeah. They rushed money here. Even though Texas had been refusing to vote for money for New York when they got hit.
By the way, let me also mention, hello, Bree. How are you?
Hello.
You just took up the space that would have been taken up by Phil. Okay, so
so Trump is right, Alex, and you're wrong. And whatever you say is absolutely wrong. Whatever I say is absolutely right. No discussion. Stop
okay,
it.
Good. And you have to keep talking too while I'm trying to talk.
That's right, Alex. You get a word in
Right.
twice.
Okay. The thing that was funny about Phil is I said I'm going to play this thing that Cuomo said today about the nursing home thing, and he said I already heard it. Well, he couldn't have heard it, and I'll tell you why. Because all the networks and even the local stations had bailed out of the press conference by the time he made this statement. I had to go to YouTube to go listen to the rest of the press conference and then to get this off of the tail end of what was not covered on any network. So, Phil, you couldn't have heard it.
No, but what he's saying is that he already knows the gist of what those type of people say.
Yeah.
It's similar, and I wrote this on the chat. I used to watch Sean Hannity and listen to Rush Limbaugh regularly, and it was entertaining. Yeah. And I've always been in the middle. I'm an independent. So, but what they do is they'll take a little thing that kind of makes sense, and then they really have to blow it up because they got to get an hour out of it. They got to get the callers in. But after a while, I can tell you exactly what they're going to say. I know what they're going to say. It's predictable, and so I look for people where it's not so predictable. But unfortunately, in the commercial world of, broadcasting and whatnot, you kind of have to have that. So
no, you don't have the Fairness Act.
Right. And sometimes I feel bad for Sean Hannity. Like I see him, he gets all his makeup on, he gets a suit on. He can never, ever break faith and break ranks. He can't say, well, I actually don't know if this is, but I gotta, Tucker Carlson does it a little bit, but Sean Hannity cannot. He is playing a role, and he must maintain that. He's straight. When I see him in a suit, I see him in a straitjacket. He cannot, ever break that role.
Well, I'll tell you the idea. Do you want to say something, John?
Yeah. If I don't know if. Tell me if I'm wrong, but when I watch Fox News, for a while, and then I'll watch MSNBC for a while, it appears that they're talking to two different levels of IQ. You know what I mean? It's like the Fox News people are talking to like morons or something. I mean, I'm not just talking about their ideology, just the way they, they just seem like this is so. It's such just a stupid analysis. Whereas if you watch like Chris Hayes or Rachel Maddow, you know where they're coming from. They're left, but it's at least it's a pretty intelligent analysis, Don't you think?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Rachel Maddow either, except on Batwoman. But I'm not a big fan.
Who was the guy who played B.J. Honeycutt on MASH? Do you remember?
Wayne Rogers.
Wayne Rogers.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Who was the one? Mike Farley.
Yeah. He was the one that replaced Wayne Rogers, I think.
Yes. Yeah, so Sean Hannity used to have him on his show, and that was an interesting, conversation.
Yeah, that guy, he was a lefty.
They stopped doing that.
Yeah. Well, the point is that we just have this whole. We are in a situation in which politics be damned. People should put aside their differences and say we have a population in peril, and we need to do something about this. And I don't know why we insist on making a left or right issue out of it. I don't make a left or right issue out of it. You know what I make it an issue of? New York versus the rest of the country, because we're fighting for our lives here. And places like Wisconsin don't feel the brunt of it like we have so far. And, somebody who earlier said, and it might have been Phil saying, oh, you have to blame Cuomo for the deaths of all these people. No, we're not blaming him for the deaths of it. We're lauding him for saving maybe 100,000 lives by taking action. Yes, Charlie.
Oh God, no, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
It's about the when Trump says we don't need any. We test more people, we have more cases, so all we have to do is stop testing, and we won't have so many cases. How could you get away with that in any kind of rational society?
Well, he did. Did he really say that?
Yes,
he was implying that.
He even said it twice. He came back and doubled back on it.
What's that he said again?
He said that the reason we have so many cases is because we're testing so
yes,
much.
Because we've tested so much.
Test so we won't have so many cases.
Yeah,
he
did say that.
He said it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I know you find that hard to believe, Rob, but
he said that.
So would I.
I shouldn't get a chest X-ray because I don't want to know if I have lung cancer or not. And if I don't get the X-ray, I'm no way I'm going to have lung cancer.
No way I'm going to have lung cancer. Right.
Here's where we get bogged down in specific items, and that's from the Trump playbook.
Right.
But that's not specific. He does that on many items. That's his general train of thought.
Train of thought.
Right. When you
that's the way he thinks.
Yeah.
When you get involved in that, he has won because you've come into the mud with the pig.
Yeah.
That's not mud. That's 100,000 people dead.
Yeah.
That's not
for
mud.
him, that's mud. For him, that's the mud.
Yeah.
People are fucking dying. You can't let a moron run the country when people are dying.
That's the key.
No, you can't let a moron.
All you have to do is just say people are dying, and people continue to die.
You can let a moron run the country.
Plan,
yeah, you can let a moron run the country when people are dying if the moron at least realizes he's a moron, and let smarter people prevail. Hello, Vernon. You been listening to this?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Your takeaway?
I'm getting very discouraged, and here's why.
Yeah.
The reason that Donald Trump was impeached in the first place was because he used political influence with Ukraine, saying, I'm going to give you this funding that Congress approved if you do me a favor. Well, now he's doing the same thing with the state of Michigan, because the state of Michigan has mailed out paper ballots to people because of COVID,
Right.
And he's saying, you got to stop doing that, or I'm not going to send you federal money because of the flooding that's taking place right now.
Yeah, he did say that today.
Yes.
And I don't, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what he's got against mail ballots. I mean,
it's suppressing the vote, Alex.
Right.
If more people vote, he's not going to win.
No, but here's the thing. No, what I don't understand is
thousands of them.
No, but
the more people vote, the worse the Republicans will do.
But I'm trying to figure out what is the rationale he's giving for the fact that he doesn't want mail-in ballots. I mean, outside of the obvious reason.
In his mind, there's more potential fraud.
But he should like that.
It can't go his way.
Really? Because fraud has worked for him in the past.
But with the voting machines, he's counting on that. He's got the voting machines figured out.
Huh. Oh,
but he can always say that it was fixed. There dead people were turning in mail-in votes, all that stuff.
You know that's going to happen.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. In the state of Kentucky, I can vouch for this because we had our primary moved from May to June.
Mm-hmm.
And you can request now a mail-in ballot for the primary. When you request it, you go on a specific website and you have to fill out certain information, which the Board of Elections clerk will verify you are who you are, and then they will email you an application for a mail-in ballot. They fill out all of the personal information after they verified it. Then all you have to do is sign it and mail it in, and they will send you the mail-in ballot to the address that you put on that form.
Right. We just set ours in.
So how can there be fraud on something like that?
By the way, Peter Arno on our chat room said, all of a sudden, panelists who usually say little or nothing are expressing themselves. Best reason to keep Phil off the show. But it's true. But it's true. All of a sudden, the rest of you felt you could jump in, say something, feel free to say it, without somebody monopolizing the conversation. And it's not that I don't appreciate Phil, but, I've asked him in the past to back off a little bit. Just, I'm not asking him to moderate what he says or what his opinions are, but just to back off, to give other people a chance to breathe. And I do think Charlie is far more verbose right now than he is when Phil's on, So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Even Jeff is saying absolutely. See, I mean, Jeff.
And I like
he gets a chance to.
I like Phil as a person.
I do too.
But he's pain in the ass on the show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do a show that everybody kind of talks. It was funny the other day. I did this thing in the afternoon using Zoom. And to begin with, we had people we don't usually have because it is a different time of the day. And Charlie was on one of them. And Kevin was on this one the other day. But a lot of people we didn't have before. And there was no Phil, basically. Brian was there, too. Brian was there. Brian's got a lot of free time on his hands. Brian was there.
Good morning.
And it was a great conversation, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, very good.
Very civil, and everybody was positive, and it wasn't a matter that they all agreed. That's not the point. I don't care what you believe. If you disagree with me, fine. It makes for a better show, okay? But I just don't like it when somebody becomes disruptive and tries to monopolize the conversation. And doesn't have the respect for me and the other people on the panel. And if you can't be that way, then don't call the program. But if you can be that way, we'd love to have you. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care if you're a right winger. Just be respectful that left wingers have their opinion too. That's really what it's all about. But and the reason I played that today is because I have been waiting for Cuomo to finally answer the question of what went on with the nursing homes and his handling of it. And we got the answer, and that's what I was playing. But, wasn't willing to. They weren't. He wasn't willing to take the answer for that. He sat there while the thing was going on doing this.
Yeah.
And it just being trying to kind of being disrespectful of the fact that we were playing a clip of sorts.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Cuomo as well, Alex, but I would never engage in that kind of activity.
Yeah.
I would say good for Cuomo to try to address issues, but he had one the other day. It said the good news is, he had it on his background, and it said something like we're through the worst of this and we're getting through it, or something like that. And I disagreed with what he was calling good news. I thought it was not realistic. There was still a possibility of, this is the thing around here too, around me. People are acting like nothing has changed. We're back to normal. And I think that's wrong. And we gotta be careful. And Yeah,
you have to temper that though, because you can't be doom and gloom, because people, maybe in your country it's different, but here you can't suppress Americans like that. They're going to eventually revolt, and then there's a bigger problem. So you try to celebrate the wins when you can, and you just can't go until, because this could go on until mid next year, and you can't tell everybody you're going to stay home till next year.
And I hear you, Robin. That's a valid point. The slide he put up was, the good news is we are finally ahead of this virus and we are in control of our destiny. Totally disagree with that. And let's watch the numbers.
If they're bringing it down, they're ahead of the curve. When it's going up, they're not ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah.
But he's saying finally ahead of this virus. That implies we got this, and it's not.
Who's
gonna
Rocky?
become worse.
Yeah, Ray, that's a little distracting. It's a little distracting.
Who is that?
Yeah, that's
Ray.
Ray. But it's a little distracting while we're trying to
I'm
talk.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's Ray Stallone.
Yeah. Yes, Charlie.
But the thing that Bree's not taking into account is that New York was having close to 1,000 people die every day, and now they're down to 100. They're the only place where the numbers are going down.
Yeah.
And do you guarantee me, Charlie, that it will never go back up above 1,000? Guarantee me that, and I'll agree with you.
I would probably guarantee.
You can.
I would probably guarantee you that, and for this reason, Bree, that Cuomo's take on this is that we have to learn from all of this, and we have to learn about future methodologies that we put in place, and that we have to watch every metric, scientific metric that comes our way, and if science, and if it starts going up a little bit, it's like a valve. You turn the valve down. In other words, you've got to keep your eye on it, and we can't make the same mistakes we made before. One of the major mistakes that we made, above and beyond anything else, was that we weren't looking to people coming from Europe. We thought, we got to stop everything coming from China. Well, I mean, it was coming. What came here was from Europe, and the strain that came to New York was a much deadlier strain. By the time it got here, it had time to grow up and to get stronger. And so the people that were bringing it over here were bringing a strain that was far more dangerous. That's why California, in spite of the fact that they started earlier in having everybody stay in place, but more than that, and this was the important part, was that was a different strain. And we got the worst of it here. And we turned off the valve completely, and things slid back. And things might go back up again, but if they do, he's going to start shutting things down.
You shut it down again.
Yeah. And
I think the biggest problem is we don't have leadership that believes in science. It's just almost like what Charlie started saying.
Yeah.
It is until we have a administration, and not just one person, and with the climate change and with all this thing we're talking about, our president keeps talking about this, that people are starting to believe some of the science. But I don't think that's true. I think it's going to go back to how it was before.
If our president believes that the way to control this is to not test, he's not believing in science.
Or not reveal how many people are dying like they're doing in Florida and Georgia. We just shut down, don't tell anybody what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Right.
It's going to continue. It's going to continue. There's no plan nationally. So everybody for themselves. Some places are going to flare, some won't. Some will travel, some won't. It's going to continue.
Don't come to Texas.
It's going to
continue. By the way, the couple of states they always point to, and one of them is Florida, as saying, well, they haven't seen a rise. Well, in the last couple of days, they've seen a spike, and that spike doesn't take place till 14 days later. Yes, yes, Vernon.
Well, on the good news side, I think I volunteer or had been volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, and the first week of March they shut down all construction activities, but they continued doing some things that had been done by volunteers using construction contractors, subcontractors, and that was continued using specific guidelines that the CDC was recommending. No more than so many people on the job site at a time, using personal protective equipment, having hand sanitizer and that. Well, this week is the second week in a row that my group, the electricians, have worked on a house, but it was with specifics that we were supposed to follow. We only had 6 people working at a time, maximum of 8.
Yeah.
And there was a bin provided by Habitat Management with hand sanitizer, with disinfectant spray, with disinfectant wipes, with face covers, and with gloves. And if you're going to be working close to each other, there's also a face shield that you strap around your face. If you're going to be less than 4 feet away working with someone, you're required to wear the face shield. And you keep that face shield in this bin, and you keep the disinfectant and all that in this bin. So next Tuesday, when we go to a different house, I will carry that bin with me as the leader for everybody to have the PPE available.
Cool.
Did anybody see the report on NBC tonight about Macy's reopening?
Yes.
And what they're doing to make the stores ready?
Yeah, they're changing its name to Bloomingdale's.
I heard it was David Marcus.
When you think about what they have to do, I mean, for example, you go into a dressing room and try on a bunch of clothes, those clothes are taken out and they will not be put back on the floor for a while. Everything is being rotated. They went through a litany of things that they're doing. Makeup counters, no more makeup on your faces, anything like that.
They do it
on. Doing it on paper. It's just, I mean, the world is changing.
And until we get a vaccine, once we get a vaccine, maybe we can go back to life kind of the way it was. But until then, no way. And even after that, I don't think things are necessarily going to change. I think people are going to change their habits because they saw what this got us into. Okay. And I think it's going to be many years before we ever get back to any kind of normalcy, if that. Would you go to a movie theater anytime soon, even if there was a vaccine?
No,
I don't think so. Yes, John, quickly.
I'm an usher in a theater, so, what am I going to do?
Well, bring, I don't know, I'll buy your flashlight from you. Anyway, hey, listen, boy, this has been good. You know something, since Phil left, thank you, Phil, for leaving, because we got the highest numbers we've ever had here on the people watching. All of a sudden, they zoomed right up. Not that I don't like Phil, yes, everybody. Well, first, let me acknowledge you, Rob, who, by the way, tell them where they can listen to your little radio station. Where can they listen to it? Rob?
They can't right now. I have to send links out to people. I'm waiting on a logo. I'm waiting on a bunch of things. But thank you for the email today. Okay. The station went off the air because the PC here lost the network connection. Don't know why. The rest of the house did.
Those kind of things happen.
Then I want to promote villageradio.net.
Okay, villageradio.net. That's Bree. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Oh, there is Brian with his kid. Oh, boy. Is that the good kid? That's a good one, right?
Yes.
Jeff, thank you. Thank you, John Larkin. We love having you here now as a regular. Same thing with you, Vernon Nunn. We like all of you. We love all of you. And thanks to Phil as well for the contribution he made this evening. Meanwhile, why don't you all give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a wave goodbye back at you. Bye-bye. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Up next, it's Jack Bishop, and he's going to be here with the intersection, okay? And he would love to get some calls from you and have you talk about what you want to talk about, and whatever. Anyway, listen, we got to go. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time? Yeah, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, you know what to do. Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.